What's up, baby? To my American people, to my blessed loves, I love you so much. From one to another, I love you from being a depowered citizen, um, and being harmed by Republican, Democrat people in their power or anything like that. Just a couple quick things. Do eye trainings, right? Training the mind and training the mind's eye connection and stuff. Do your plant medicine, learn your psychic ability, and just I love you so much because from my understandings of being dispowered in America, from being abused and tormented by forms of Hollywood, right? Forms of multi-millionaire children raised in their power that, they look down at the depowered citizens, like just force them, just have them do it, like, yeah, they move your body and, ones that could channel into your vessel, your heaven sent, alter image or, there are some, I've been actually very blessed with some people that, got on the dreamscape with me. I had a very, I think it was an Asian, I think he was like Japanese or something. And it was really cute because it was like, it was a dreamscape. And he was like, we are the water people. And I was like, and it was the cutest, it was the really, really cutest thing that I got to be able to see. And I got to see, other people that are really good with dreamscape and stuff like that. So, excuse me, there are people out there that aren't abusing these forms of things. So there was really cute things. And I have gotten to see people that are able to share images and, these really divine things. So, I'm not trying, I don't know, not to put fear, but what I'm trying to say is that there is a real form of abuse that happens within that of Hollywood or happens within that of the lower class and the upper class. And so I'm really trying to find where I'm at because it's difficult to feel okay or feel safe in your own country when you've been attacked by, so many different people and, people that, learn their psychic ability and learn how to tether into the mind, learned how to, rewire the CBT, which is clinical thought behavior, which is the subconscious of the mind. And there's these really divine things where I think she's a little bit more of a bully because I think even if you get, so if you have like these higher forms of consciousness, like where you understand metaphysical arts, remote viewing, you're able to move your consciousness from one area to another area, where you're able to lucid dream whenever you're able to tether to another mind and communicate telepathically or have hive mind. These are not things that are just for the multimillionaires. These are things that everyone has access to. And it is just about the teachings of mind's eye, fully aligning yourself, and stuff like that, and being mindful of what group is trying to assist, guide, or deceive you. Because I think essentially sometimes with the depowered citizens, because actually one of the best things is religion. I do know within a lot of that, it is a lot of communications. I think it was one of the very first churches I went to was a Baptist church. And when he was telling the story, I remember getting an image of a snake. So there's like these really beautiful things that happens, whether it's religions are really, really good. I've been blessed with some very beautiful Muslims, tethering to the mind and doing prayer over me. And, I had flowers falling over me. And this was a psychic connection. This was a very beautiful thing. And plus with prayer. So there's actually very beauty. But sometimes when you get these children that have been dispowered or your ancestors and your family's been kind of pulled away from plant medicine and these things and been isolated and targeted to be dispowered, it's difficult. But and I know for myself being forced to a town and held in a town and, holding my consciousness where I can't even think in my own head, can't even text my family or call my family because I'm like, oh, but I don't want to. It's because I'm being held psychically. And I know that there is this Christ game that's going on in America too, in which that was another hard teaching that I ended up going through too. But no matter what, it's when you amp up the energy, it doesn't matter if whether you praise anything, whether you praise good or bad or anything. If a person comes from a standpoint where they have raised their psychic energy, just raising your psychic energy alone allows you to hold somebody else's head. So there's a lot of things, but you know, for those that are experiencing horrible things like, family members going to jail, your families are being designed, Hollywood's doing forms of bad onto your family, like trying to make this organic or this authentic, because now you kind of got Hollywood's elitist telerizations, hive minds, collective metaphysical arts, depowering your family in order to like create a new culture. And I mean, obviously, you go with anything jazz, right? Excuse me, the jazz, the oldies, the hip hop now, heavy metal, the rewiring and causing a new fad onto the people. And that is coming into the person, that is getting into the being, that is, but again, I think what I'm really honestly trying to say is that, for anybody that's out there that, is going through a hard time as far as being abused, by hierarchies in your town, for those that want to be gay and, you get that energy, where you're not allowed to, but obviously they're like this, he's gay. So just be mindful of the presence that comes around and be mindful of the energy that gets spit on you, or, to learn your arts, learn how to project, create image and push image out, learn how to be divine. And I understand, because sometimes it's really hard to say these things when I know that there's such a big facet out there that's so abused and so looked at as less than, and I'm in that category where I feel like that, and I love you. I appreciate you, and learn your plant medicine. Get it from like a hippie. Music, obviously, music industry is horrible. I wanted to practice voice, dancing, and stuff like that, but due to metaphysical, communication, lenses, psychic ability, and it's like, it's difficult to go out into, these clubs and want to go and express and dance when there's this higher form of human hunting that's out there. And it's difficult because you want to go out there and you want to be in community, because that's how it was when I went to Boys Town. I was like, I'm going out there and I'm letting my gaze know, like, I'm becoming one right now, baby. I'm becoming one with you. I love you so much. And I'm going out there and I'm bogan and I'm like, yes, I'm doing it, bitch. But it was like, I was still being like pressed, and I wasn't exactly getting the best, because I remember when I went to the Boys Town, I went to a guy and I was like, what about somebody that's being like controlled and manipulated and, all this? And then, in Boys Town, I kind of got that ugly side, because the guidance that I gotten to be able to like get assisted with human trafficking, it was kind of like ugly, because Boys Town didn't assist me with like being like, here, yeah, this is what we do. Let's help you. It was more like all of a sudden I got something in my mind where it's like, I want to be trans. I don't want to be trans. What the fuck? Like, that doesn't, like, I'm not against trans people. I'm not against it. I actually think it's kind of hot. As a matter of fact, I know if I was a lesbian, I think I would probably do testosterone just to grow a beard. Just to grow a beard. It's like, you know what I mean? Although I do like having a beard, so I'm the kind of gay that likes to have the beard. And so I kind of thought it was, it wasn't what I was seeking. You know what I mean? Because I was seeking for that, because I grew up, being told, I was told only one time, like my dad being like, all gays are child molesters. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that can't be true. Like, what the fuck? So it fucked up my head. So there was a lot of things. And it's like when you try to get into a gay community being like, hey, look, I'm very tortured. Like, I'm so tortured. I just got from a town that I was forced to go to because I love black people too much. I was too sexual, and I was too aggressive, meaning that I defended myself too much. But I didn't know I was being like evaluated by the elitists, right? Like I didn't know, like, motherfucker, you're moving objects your whole life, prick. Like you've been doing dreamscape, energy balls, doing visualizations your whole life. I've been a slave for most of mine. And it's like, well, now you get to experience the. I told you I was born in America, right? I did tell you that my family was dispowered, correct? I did see my family get that wave over of the delusional forgetfulness, right? Like while sitting there trying to keep my own sanity, while being fed a whole bunch of forms of false history in public school, and knowing that something's off and it's not right, that even my own schooling's teaching me something wrong. And you're trying to tell me that now I get to experience the hell of the tormenting of my fucking mind for multimillionaires? Are you fucking kidding me? So, and I know it took a lot, to get me. I knew it took a lot to really depower me and split my body. I did learn a lot of cool stuff like energy body, mind body, which is all like typically like really good things, and to alter somebody else's consciousness. And it is by separating you. So, for my citizens that are, really amongst one another and people are holding your frame, it makes it very difficult for other collectives to be able to break your frame and control your being. But again, tellerizations, but there is a good America out there, I think is essentially what I'm trying to say. It's difficult because I know there's moments where I want to lash out really, really bad. Because it's like, where do I belong? You know what I mean? Like, because you kind of got these communities, even in the gay community. We were just watching like a thing of gay community. And, it was very interesting where I'm drawn to. And I'm very drawn to Black. I'm very drawn to Latino. And these are actually my draws. Like, I'm actually really drawn to this. And and I'm drawn to these things because lifestyle, and because culture, I guess, and a little bit of music, right? And people that I've dated. And then all of a sudden you go through this big rewirement, psychically holding you, breaking your mind body, breaking your energy body. You can't even think in your own fucking head because you don't trust it no more. Now I'm afraid to talk if I talk too ghetto. I'm like, don't. I'm not. Am I talking Black? I'm so sorry. Don't do it. Am I talking too Latino? Don't. Fuck. I'm so sorry. I want 6-inch white penis. like I really do have. I really have a hard time. I really do have a hard time now because it's like I've broken trust. My trust has been broken where it almost makes me feel like I've broken trust. And I think I've had to look at myself being like, well, I didn't have collective mind. I didn't have these teachings. And I know that, when I got tethered to before my big evaluation and being psychically forced to a town and psychically held, they were like, well, what team are you a part of? Well, I was like, I'm a part of love and peace. You're like, I want to master love. I want to master peace. And I want to master, like, being able to hold something and healing it. Like Reiki 1, 2, 3. telerizations of knowing I could create heaven within somebody else's mind. And I was like, these are the things that I really want to learn. However, it's nothing that I taught because when I said I was part of the team of love and peace, they were like, well, you're fucked. I was like, shit. Well, that fucking sucks. And so now I'm trying to figure out where I belong. I don't feel very safe, which is very true. I still don't feel safe. And it's interesting because I think when some of it came to a little bit of the Hollywood stuff, it ruined all people for me. Like it honestly ruined everybody. But I remember, because I have contacted NAACP, United Nations, and I mean, I've honestly contacted a lot of people, and being like, hey, this has been my experience. Like I don't think that I should have been tormented or harmed for liking a certain culture or being immersed in a certain culture. I love the way I dance. I love the way that I talked. I don't think that I should have been targeted and isolated for that. I love the people that I've dated, and I loved, obviously, the people that I dated were from other countries, but, I love that part of me, I love these parts. I don't think these are the parts where I should be isolated and harmed and tormented. And then when I'm trying to learn to get into my power and actually be a positive influence, now I really don't trust too many things because E.T. Herm. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Because everyone's trying to get in the head. And I think for myself, it really hurt me that when this presidency I'm not good with timelines. I'm not good with timelines and quantums. I can't adjust my energy body for me to rapidly experience. I think that's a higher form of masonry. Or those that higher forms of consciousness, or I'm not sure how that goes. But I'm just trying to be like, oh, I'm okay, I'm safe, and I think with this presidency that just came about, and I think it was Trump that ended up winning. However, I did get to vote. It was my first time voting. I voted for Harris. What's up, baby? And that's because I think I've been abused by a little bit of that one side that's really okay with slavery, and that's all colors that are okay with that shit. But it really was an extra harming form for myself, because I was forced years ago in a town full of Trumpers, higher forms of psychic ability, all these other things. And when I tried to get away, I ended up getting raped. And I told the guy, I was like, no, I was like, to be honest with you, I don't mind sharing pictures or stories, or, we could tell nasty stories or something like that. And I was like, but of course that's gay culture, but I told him, I was like, I definitely don't want to do nothing with you. And then of course, I woke up with him raping me, and then, and I was like, well, because I'm so afraid of the metaphysical arts and psychic ability and all these other things, that I just let him rape me. Which I'm pretty sure it happens all day, all the time in like the industry, or I don't fucking know, or in politics too. I don't know if everyone just kind of like psychically picks out a couple people and then just rapes the disempowered American citizens as the United States government, or I don't know how that works. But I've reached out for human rights, equality rights. I've reached out to senators. I just called the senator's office in Illinois, asking if I was going to be safe, because that next day when I actually woke up, I had, whether it's television or remote viewing or however you want to place that, and was telling me that I need to go back to that town. It's so when I called the Senate and I asked them, I said, well, am I going to be safe with Trump being a president? Like, are you going to actually are you going to guarantee me that I'm going to be safe? Because there's obviously, like, I have a hard time with this, because I was actually friends with a friend who I just now found out, that was her party though too. And, I was like, were you the one assisting tethering to my mind? Or were you, I already believed that she already had hive mind, she had collective mind, um, yeah, she's from, money, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of get blessed with being a fully lined and knowing your psychic ability and, being able to communicate these ways. Because I remember like there'll be times that I'm looking and I can see she's like in big communication. And then all of a sudden it's almost like this switch. And I'm like, oh, she must have just hung up the phone on like group communication, and it's interesting because you got the Muggle people that are taught like you can't have metaphysical lens or you can't share thought or image or you can't, it's different. It's a different world for those that are actually raised in their power. However, the lady when I did call, she did tell me. She doesn't know, so I waited a week in order to call back to see if I was going to be protected from being harmed by the United States government and the presidency, because obviously I didn't vote for him. I obviously voted for, Harris. So I'm like, is he going to like seek revenge and I'm gonna have a harder time now that like my vessel is a little bit more depowered. I'm more tapped into, it's easier to alter perception or thought or to wave over silliness. Vision, like there's forms of truths. Well, am I gonna be protected from the United States government from harming me? Because I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I have no communities that I could run to. I don't, I don't have this white group I can run to or this black group I could run to. I don't have this Hollywood friends. You know what I'm saying? I get in trouble for loving black so much. I get sent to a town of white Trumpers, get rewired. Or try to be forced rewired, right? And then I go to another town, where there's some black people, you know what I'm saying? Like some colored folks. And I'm like, all right, guys, I need your help, and it's like, no, I get tethered to by another motherfucker that, tells me I'm a faggot and I get a can thrown at my head. And I'm like, okay, so white and black is over. And try to go, I was like, well, maybe the Latino, and it was like, no matter where I went or no matter where I was trying to go, I was being harmed, or that I couldn't get harms. And I think this was a big one, because when I really learned because I still don't know politics too much, but the Democrat and the Republicans, and then I think when I got, pulled around by, the ones that voted for slavery, didn't vote against slavery. And then, I think that was a twist, because if you were looking at color, if you were looking at race, if you were looking at any of that, well, it goes out the window, because they're all colors, they're all races, so it was painful. And I've actually contacted some Muslims have helped me, actually. Muslim brothers and sisters have helped me. Some Christians have helped me. Like, there has been people that actually have assisted with helping me. But I mean, I'm not pushing out energy out of my mind. I'm not doing these things. But I've gotten people that actually assisted and helped me. And I give big thanks. And and it's kind of interesting because I haven't really learned too much of the Masonry or all these other things. I just know that I don't like certain groups in America. And I think this last time because I made this whole thing where, because I was actually helped by some Indian brothers and sisters, Pakistani. And, they helped shelter me. They helped protect me psychically and energetically. And I remember I was going back into work, but I did over like an hour-long thing about how my beautiful Indian brothers and sisters have helped me. And then so I posted it, and it was kind of ironic because I was working at a gym where I think this spiritual group or Forms of Hollywood, right, whatever, bought my company, and then the payroll all changed. But anyways, there was this Indian guy who looked familiar, and he went to the gym. And that day that I posted it, the next day when I was in there, he went and walked over to this white guy, and he's like, "Not no more." And then so it was like one of those moments where I was like, I don't understand. Like, so you were actually knowing of what was going on? I'm not understanding it, because I don't got the capability where I'm like, I'm on this higher form of hive mind, collective mind, tellerizations. Like, I'm not on this higher stance of reality with everybody else. I'm the one that everyone's targeted, isolated, depowered, and now I'm afraid of all of you. And then I'm trying to find all the reasons why America is still amazing. You know, I'm trying to find it where I'm like, we have a beautiful Latin population. Well, it's difficult when your Latin population abuses the depowered citizens. I'm like, we have this very beautiful Black power, this very beautiful Black, African, Haitian, beautiful people. Well, it's difficult when they're abusing the depowered citizens. We have this very beautiful white part, which is not this racist asshole shit, that are Polish, Swedish, and they're not this racist, hateful people. But it's difficult when they're abusing the dispowered citizens. So it gets very touchy, because there's these people that are in their power, and they're not giving that knowledge onto a depowered citizen. I know that when I was engaged with Armando, he was from, I think, Orange County, California, and he tethered to my mind. And then so he was showing me a uterus. And this is like a very, well, he was from there, but I think he was from Guatemala though too. He was from Guatemala. And all of a sudden he's showing that, because this is your unity of yourself, and these are spiritual practices. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that was gorgeous. Like, you know, but I think we ended up breaking up, but I was like, you know, how nice it would have been, you know, for my partner to be like, all right, we're going to practice visualizations, we're going to do this. But out of the people that I've met that are able to do these things, nobody was ever like, hey, so this is, okay, so we just did Dreamscape. We just created Dreamscape. We just did this. Like, nobody's walking through any of these things. And, you know, and these people that are in their power, they're not helping the depowered citizens unless you hire them as a coach, and then you get to learn. But if you're not hiring them as a coach, then they're going to be abusing you. So if I'm depowered and I don't got enough money to afford you, that gives you the right to be able to abuse me, because everybody else in the world can abuse me and get away with it. When other people from other countries are coming fully aligned with their psychic ability, and I'm the product of the depowerization of America. And then people got mad at me because I'm like, I don't want to be in America anymore, and I don't trust Americans. And then now it's so bad, or it's like you almost don't trust the world. It's hard. It's so hard. I love you. But there's a chance for you guys to come in your power, and I love you.